Hello everybody, Natalia here, and I am back with a really exciting new video. This is the third video in my How to Write Your Novel series, and today we're going to be talking about something super important, which is character creation. Alright, let's get started. So there are already a bunch of videos out there that you can find that are going to kind of be about character profiles and, figuring out all the details about your characters, but that is not necessarily what this video is going to be about. This video is going to be more about understanding the purpose of each character that you put in your novel. So when I am planning out my novels and I'm planning out the characters that I want in the book, I need to know why they're going to be there. Are they going to be a villain? Are they going to be a protagonist? Are they going to be a sidekick to the protagonist? Who are they going to support? Why are they there? Who are they causing trouble for? These are all really important questions that you need to ask yourself and have answered before you make your final decision about what characters are going to be in your novel. So the first question you should ask yourself about every character in your novel, even the main protagonist, main antagonist, is going to be, what is their main desire, want, or goal? When I am creating my characters, in my Scrivener document at the very top, I'll have the character's name, and then I will have their objective in the novel. For example, in the fairy novel that I'm writing right now, the main character, Charlotte Barclay, has two main desires. Her first is to get into a prestigious music university called the Bellini Institute, so she is really focusing on that throughout the novel. And then her second desire is going to be to save her mom from the realm of the Fae. Her mother has been kidnapped and taken away from her, and she needs to figure out a way to save her mom and bring her back home. So those are her two major desires, and I needed to know that moving forward with her character and with the story. So make sure that with every character you're adding to your novel, you know what they want. All of us act on our wants, our goals, and our desires. So everything we do has some sort of complex context behind it. So make sure that you have that planned out before you start going into the depth of creating a character profile with 100 questions on it, because I've seen those and they might be helpful, but make sure that this is a character that's going to be important enough to stick around in your novel before you fill something like that out. The second question that you should ask yourself before adding any character to your novel is, are they necessary? I have written characters into novels before that were a lot of fun to write and that I really enjoyed, but at the end of the day, I could remove them from the novel and the novel didn't change, and that is how I know that something needs to be cut. I do the same thing with chapters, scenes, etc. If I write something and I can remove it from the novel without the novel being affected at all, then I know that it doesn't belong there in the first place. So if you have a bunch of characters in your novel right now that are just walking around, bumping into walls and not doing anything, it's time to either give them a purpose and make sure that they're necessary, or just cut them completely. So once you have determined that your characters have a specific want or goal and they're necessary in your novel, then the third thing that you'll need to do, or the third thing that I do at least, is start to give them very unique personality kind of quirks or physical features that are really unique to that character. For example, I have a character in my novel right now that wears very specific jewelry. He wears rings on one hand, and then he also has a woven bracelet that has a Celtic knot charm on it. And this is really important because when my main character sees this on somebody else, it instantly alerts her to the fact that this person is somebody that's interested in Celtic myth, Celtic folklore. And that is what will initially kind of start off their conversations and their interactions. That was an important physical trait that I gave this character, was the jewelry that he was wearing. Now, your character might have a certain phrase that they say all the time, or maybe they only listen to one certain kind of music, or they dress a certain way. These are all very specific traits to this character that will set them apart from all the rest. I'm sure that there are a bunch of videos out there and blogs and a ton of media that's about making a unique character, but this is just a little way to kind of start on that path, is to give them something unique about their personality that nobody else in the novel has. Now, I've given you a few of these little tips and tricks, but I want to give you an example about how you would actually use this in your novel. When I was creating the character that's wearing that Celtic charm bracelet, I needed to know first, why is he even here? When I first put him in the novel, he didn't even have the bracelet on. So I had to backtrack and figure out his entire purpose before I could move forward. So this character that I added to the novel is going to be a sidekick to my main character. My main character is on this quest to save her mother from the realm of the Fae, which means her sidekick needs to have some sort of intelligence or talent or skill that is going to help her along the way. So the reason I built the character, I'm looking down here because I have my notes, the reason I built this sidekick character the way I did is because I knew that he needed to have intelligence and kind of insight into Scottish, Irish, kind of Celtic folklore. If he had no interest in this folklore and no interest in the Fae, then he would be of no help to her, and I'd have to cut him out of the novel anyway. So I started with the basis. I have my main character, Charlotte. She needs somebody to help her out along the way. In order for this person to help her, they need to know something about the Fae, or at least about the folklore, and have an interest in it so that they will at least believe her and help her out along the way. These are the kind of things that you can go through with your characters. Take your main character and the characters immediately surrounding that one and ask yourself, is each one of these characters imperative to the success or the failure of my main character? And if the answer is no, then you gotta really get them out of there. And because this is a character video, I wanted to show you these little guys. So I love doing artwork, as I have talked about in some other videos, and these two were little drawings that I did of the two main characters in my novel Fire Tongue, which is in the first large round of edits right now, and I haven't looked at it for over a year now, but I will probably be getting back to anyway. But anyway, this is just totally off topic, but once you figure out your characters, why don't you give them a face so that you know what they look like? Alright, this is a bit of a short, quick, and easy version of the character kind of creation. Once, like I said, once you have your characters figured out and you know that they're absolutely necessary for the novel, fill out that 50 question or 100 question questionnaire about them so that you get to know their zodiac sign, what their favorite food is, what kind of footwear they have on, all those details about them. But make sure that you're not doing that and spending all the time and effort on it before you know that that character is for sure going to be in your novel. Alright, thank you so much everybody for watching this third video in my How to Write Your Novel series. If you have any requests for this series, please let me know down below. I am thinking about doing another in-depth outlining, how to outline for your novel, because the one I did before was the kind of quick and easy version since I was plotting for NaNoWriMo, and NaNoWriMo is just a whirlwind. So if you want a more detailed version of the outline, let me know below. And if there's anything else you're interested in, also tell me down below. I've gotten some comments about maybe marketing videos or how to get your book into bookstores, stuff like that, but I want to know what you are most interested in so that I am getting that video filmed and uploaded first. Alright, I will catch you in my next one. Have a good day. Bye!